Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. Today I am going to be putting together the Advent Cracker box die set. I did receive this, was it last week or the week before? I can't remember. And I've not really had time to have a play with it. I've got some time off and I needed to wrap things up at work. We're moving over to a new system and there's a lot of changes that need to happen. So today is the first day where I've actually got a bit of time to be able to play with it. So this is the Advent Cracker box die set, and I've got a bit of water damage to my packaging. I didn't realise my glass mat was slightly wet, where there was a wipe on there, and I've managed to damage a little bit of it, but it doesn't impact the instructions. I have briefly had a look at the instructions, so I kind of worked out how it needs to go together. So this is an A5 die set. Obviously this was part of birthday week, and I am really excited to have a play with it today. I'm not doing a Christmas theme cracker, I'm just doing a pink, you know, my kind of spin on things. And yeah, so we're going to have a go at using this die set. This is your main construction piece that makes the goodness me, this is the main construction piece that makes the cracker, and you need to cut this out twice, which is what I've done. I have obviously, as always, cut everything out, and I've done a few other bits, so I will go through that as I show you all the pieces. But I have like the decorative elements, like this piece here. I've cut it out for both sides, and I've cut that out 2, 4, 6, 8, 16 times, because it's obviously a 4-sided cracker. I have cut some foliage and things out as well from this, but I'm going to pair it with some flowers instead of, you know, it being holly leaves or Christmas themed. I am going to have an aperture side with like a window on one side and doors on the other. I'm not using any of the foils today. That's more Christmassy, so I would rather leave that for another day. But this this particular make, I'm using apertures. So let me just show you what I mean by that. I've used the 2 dies together, those 2 square dies together, to create apertures, and I've just cut some patterned paper out, which I will layer on with the aperture to create like frames, if you like. I have made one already, and I'll bring that in shortly to show you. And yeah, so I've basically I'm doing a pink version. I'm using pearlesant card, Princess Pink, and I've kind of used about 1.5 sheets of pearlescent card, a little bit of patterned paper, and some rose platinum mirror card. I've got some foliage cut out with avocado green and some cut out in platinum, rose platinum. And yeah, let's crack on and put one of these together. I can refer back to the dies if needs be. So let me just put this back in here. Obviously your dies come with fully comprehensive instructions, but feel free to follow along with my video if you want. I know the other DT have done videos, so you may have already watched theirs and already made a start in making some of your crackers. So I'm just going to bring one in that I've already made. Now, strangely enough, it's in navy and cashmere blue. There is some pink in it, and this is what I mean by a window. So I've basically, this isn't one that you can open like to get into anything, but basically I've done like patterned paper, window, patterned paper, window, and I've basically dressed it up with a couple of flowers on that square tag and tied some ribbons. I have put some gems on there, and I just think it's so pretty, so I thought I'd make one for a video. So hopefully this will inspire you to think out of the box, that a cracker is not just for Christmas. You know, you can use it for baby showers, you can use it for birthdays, weddings. There are so many different events you can use it for, even a thank you. And you can put like, you can buy like mini bath bombs and things and place them inside, if you leave the one of the sides open, I guess. So, you know, there is so much you can do with this, and it is a really good size as well. So it could be like on a, you know, I know a cracker you would normally pull and open and what have you, but it would just be nice on a plate, as a centerpiece on a plate at dinner or something as well. So let's put one of these together. I'll just move that out of the way. So what you need then is 2 of these pieces, and the aperture already cuts out on one of the panels but not the other, so you need 2 of those. You need to cut out 4 of these pieces, because you need to create little boxes on either side of your aperture, so you need 4 of those. And if you're using doors, depending on how many doors you want, you would need 2 per door set, and then you would need another 2 of these for your top and your bottom of the cracker. So if you had doors on either side, you'd need 4 and then another 2, so 6 in total. If you only have 1 door set, then you would need 5 pieces. And the rest is mainly decoration. One thing that I did want to say was, because I'm creating a window, I have cut, you won't be able to see it very well, but I have cut a piece of acetate, which is the same size as this square here. And I will need to at some point grab some red liner tape. If I haven't got the red liner tape in the size that I need, I might just glue it on, but we'll see how we get on with that. So I have prepped some of this, so I can show you what I've already prepped. I've prepped one of the pieces already, and I've basically used patterned paper, and I'm using Vintage Vignettes patterned paper and rose platinum on the pearlesant card. So if I bring this piece in, I find it easier to glue everything down while it's flat, and then you can go in and burnish all your score lines. I just think it's so much easier to do it that way while things are still flat. So let me make a start. So for this then, I will need my decorative panels. I need 4 of those for this, but obviously in total you will need 8. And then I need to bring in these pieces here. So you would need 8 for one of these, and then another 8 once you've added your second panel on. So you need 16 of these in total. So I am using my glue press. I cannot live without this, honestly. This is the best thing since sliced bread. So I'm just going to go ahead and apply glue to my decorative panels, and I am going to place them, leaving a nice even border all the way around. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that for all 4. Okay, so once you've stuck those down, go ahead and apply glue to these panels here. So I'll put the first couple on and then I will speed up the rest. So just apply glue and then just make sure you've got a nice even border all the way around, and then just press that down. And I'm just going to go ahead and do the rest of these. Okay, so once you've done that, at this point you can go ahead and apply glue to one of these frames. Let's just move that one out of the way. And apply your decorative panel onto this. So you're basically framing your patterned paper. Give that a good press. And then I'm just going to go ahead and place this. I think I want it to face that way. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this piece on. I'm just eyeballing it, just making sure there's a nice even border all the way around. There we go. That good press. So at this point, I think what I'm going to do is do the door on this side. So for the door, you need 2 of these panels. And I'm using patterned paper for mine, so I'm going to glue that on top. And then you need to bring in one of these pieces. If I do that now, what you basically need to do is measure it against that score line there, which will be your hinge. So you need to measure it, and I'm just going to eyeball it. So I'm just flipping this over, and let's get my scissors, and I'm just going to cut this off. If I need to trim it any more, then I can do. So basically you have something that looks like this. So you've got a nice neat edge on either side basically. So let's just move this piece out of the way. So you will need to do that twice for both your doors, and if you've got doors on either side, you'll need to do this 4 times. So I am going to go ahead and apply. What I want to do is apply glue and cover this panel here. So I need to do it that way really, because we've got this that will cover the back. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and apply glue to my patterned card. And I'm just going to place this over my pink door. You don't have to do this. You can just leave it as plain card if you wanted, but because I'm not doing the foiling, this is why I've decided to do that. So then I'm going to do exactly the same thing with my other piece. So you will need, let's just move that out of the way. So you will need to cut yourself one of these strips here, and this will form your closure. There are score lines. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 score lines, and you just need to go ahead and burnish all those score lines like so. You can use a precision tool if you want to, but I'm not going to worry about that. And then what you need to do is apply glue to the shortest part here. And you're basically going to glue this down in on itself. And you're basically going to apply glue to this section here. Obviously this is mirror card, so I'm applying quite a bit on there, and you're just going to feed that through that hole like so, and press that down. And then you're going to use one of these pieces that you've cut out, and you're going to go ahead and cover that up. So let me just make sure I know where my hinge is. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm basically covering that up. Just make sure nothing is poking out. Suddenly gone really dark. I think it's going to chuck it down any second. Right, so that's now stuck down. I'm just going to go ahead and with my nail create that hinge there. There we go, because we're going to stick that onto one of our apertures. So that's just going to go over the top like that. So what I need to do is, actually you need to have, you need 2 of those for the door, but actually you need to cut this piece here and cut the hinge off, because that is what's going to help cover up your workings on the back of this. And then again with the hinge, I'll do the hinge first actually, make my life a little bit easier. So bend that back and forth. There we go. So now I'm just going to go ahead, apply glue to this piece. So you'll basically cut one of these out per door, so that you can cover up your workings. Well, you don't have to if you don't want to, but I'm just doing it just so I can cover up my workings and the negative side of that card. Okay, so before we start gluing the door panels on, I've actually cut the lollipop, and out. I think I've cut this out, I don't know, 6 times, I think, because I'm pretty sure I measured, and yeah, it needed to be quite a thick layer to obviously be that stopper on your door. So I'm just going to layer up. It doesn't really matter about these ones either. I'm just going to layer those up. So we've got 10 layers on now. So let's have a look. So obviously we're going to have 2 doors going on, and then this. So, ooh. And I want it to be a nice thick closure. Okay, that's not going through. There we go. Okay, so that's actually perfect, having the 10 layers, because that goes in and out really nicely. Okay, so we don't need those pieces, which is grand. So we have our door. So what I'm going to do is apply glue to my hinge panel here, and I'm just going to go ahead, let me just take that off for a second. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this on. Okay, that's better. I could fold this piece actually, but yeah, there we go. That makes life so much easier. Okay. That's moved slightly. Okay, let's just press that down. Okay, so now I'm just going to go ahead and apply glue to this piece here, the back, the hinge, and then I'm going to place this over the top and then press that one down. Perfect. I am going to let that dry before I start opening and closing any doors. So let me put my candy cane through here. It's getting caught. There we go. That's better. Like so. I am actually going to use a flower on top instead, but we'll come back to that. So I'm going to leave that one as it is. Actually, I think I'm going to burnish. Let me just burnish my score lines. This would have been better to do beforehand, but hey ho. So this one just needs a valley fold. And then a mountain fold. And then we're going to do the same on this side. And then you've got these tabs, so just fold those into and then just make sure you give those a good burnish. Okay, so that's one of the panels done. Let me bring in this one here. So with this one, I've already glued this panel down, so I'm just going to go ahead and apply glue to stick this one down. I was going to put this on red liner tape, but I am also conscious of the time, so I'm going to go ahead and just apply glue to it. And then place my acetate over the top. And then I'm going to apply glue to the acetate. And we're going to place this over the top of here, making sure everything aligns, everything is nice and level. And then press that down. I mean, I can always add red liner tape later on, which isn't an issue. Okay, so that's now pressed down. I'm going to go ahead and fold all my score lines. Perfect. Now what I'm going to do is apply glue, and I'm going to glue these two panels down. Let's do it on this side. So let's glue these two pieces together. And I think what might be a good idea is if I actually glue these tabs down as well. Okay, so let's trial out the door. Just make sure. Perfect opening. Perfect opening. Perfect. Okay. I'm going to put that back on for now to keep that side locked in. So now what we need to do is work on this piece here. So I'm just going to go ahead and fold. Obviously one side is going to be the door side, so you want the good side facing you. The negative side you won't see. So I'm going to go ahead and do exactly the same for this piece here. Okay, so what you're going to do here is apply glue to the middle panel here. You're going to attach two of those pieces, just rotating it 90 degrees, and then you're going to make sure it butts up at the back. And then press that down. You're then going to apply glue to the inside of that tab, and then you're going to fold that to the outside, and you're going to press that down. And you're basically going to go do the exact same thing, and you're going to go all the way around. Okay, so you should have something, you should have two of these like this. What I want to do is, with one of them, I'm going to place flowers in them. Now for this I do need my hot glue gun, so let me just switch that on. So while we're waiting for the glue gun, let me do the tag. So for the tag, I've cut the square one out twice, and I'm just going to put two back to back. Like so. And then I've cut a small square out, but this time I've used the patterned paper with the rose gold print on. It's just a small piece, just to act as an accent piece. And I'm just going to place that in the middle there. Like that. I'm going to wait for the hot glue gun to warm up. So while it's warming up, let's just, I'm going to take our two boxes, and we're basically going to place them back to back like this, and we're going to glue those down. So apply glue to one of the bases and put those two together like so, and just hold them together. Let the glue grab, do its thing, make sure it's nice and level on each side. There we go. So I am going to be using, as mentioned, I'm going to be using some flowers, so let me just take the wire off. And then 6. So let's just move these wires out of the way. And I've cut out lots of foliage here. And I just want to kind of attach some foliage to our flowers. I've also cut it out in that platinum rose as well. So let me just apply some onto the back of these flowers. I just think the green adds to it and makes it pop. we're just going to basically add some flowers in here and then kind of stick them inside, and just build up a scene. So let me get my tweezer because I know the glue is going to be hot. So I'll place that one onto there. On there. I think that might be enough. I don't think I need any more. Just want to be able to see some of the colour that's going on in here as well. So there. Okay, I think that's all I'm going to use. Let me just switch that off for a minute. I think that looks pretty like that, so I don't want to do any more to that. So what I'm going to do is go ahead, apply glue to this piece here on all these tabs here, and I'm just going to glue that into my window. So with this, you can obviously see what you're doing if you hold it and then like that, and then press all that down. Perfect. And then we're going to do exactly the same thing on this side. I'm going to apply glue. And just pull it taut where possible. Now open up your doors, make sure everything is nice and level, and then press that down. There we go, perfect. Take your time with this as well, don't rush it. And then we can close that up again. And where's my candy cane? Right, let me just put that back through for a second. So at this point, what you need to do is bring in these two panels here. You're going to apply glue, and because you'll be able to see this from the top, you're just going to apply glue and you're going to place this centrally over the top here, so that when you're looking down or up, you've got a neat finish. So I don't know if you can see that, but just make sure it doesn't overlap that that score line there. And then you're going to do the exact same thing on that side. Okay, so now you're just going to close this up. So I'm going to go ahead and apply glue to these remaining 3 tabs. And I'll put the middle bit on first. So there we have our cracker. I do need to put the hot glue gun on for a second again, because there's a couple of more things that I still need to do with the hot glue gun. But oh my gosh, look how pretty that is. You can see the rose, like the gold. You can see some of the greenery coming through. It's just so pretty. So nice. So I am going to go ahead and tie some ribbons. Before I do that though, I've got these hinges. Let's get these hinges on. Forgot about the hinges. Just adds a bit of breaks up the colour really. That's one. Okay, so that's now stuck down. I'm just going to go ahead and I'm just going to pull this out slightly. I'm just going to go ahead and apply some hot glue in the middle of this. Spreading that out. And I'm going to stick some foliage on. And then I think I'm going to stick one more on there, on this side. And then I'm just going to go in and pop my flower in the middle there. Just take this out for a second. Oh no. Okay, that is so pretty. Okay, let me just push that in. Oh my goodness me, that's so pretty. Okay, so I just want to, I'll come back to the ribbon in a second. So that's the back, and then at the front here I just want to add a couple of flowers and then basically put my tag on. So I think what I'm going to do is, for the tag, I'm going to pin that there, which is what I've done with the other one as well, and then I'm going to do it at an angle, and then I'm going to stick some flowers on. So let's get some hot glue on here. Press that onto there, like so. Let's get some foliage. I think what I'm going to do is put some more glue on the top here. Try not to smudge anything. Stick one there. Ooh. Yeah, we're going to try really hard not to smudge it. Going to stick one there. We're going to stick a flower on there, like that. And I think it needs one more flower. We need flowers in 2s or 3s really. 3's better, but it's too small to have 3 on there. Just going to stick another one on there. And I think I'm going to add a tiny bit more foliage. Stringy glue. I'm just going to add foliage onto there, like that. I think that's, yeah, that will do. I think that will do. Now we just need to tie a quick bow. Let me tie the bow and I'll be back. Okay, so while I did my bow, it started chucking it down. It's still raining, it's gone very, very dark. But I've also quickly applied some dream drops as well. So I just need to be careful how I hold it and where I hold it. And I will quickly show you around. So I haven't put any on this side by the looks of it. Bear with. Just have to be careful. Right, let me just put some on this side. I'm just scattering them here, there and everywhere. No particular order. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly show you around. The Nouveau drops are obviously still very wet, so I just need to be careful. And there is a bit of glue on there. I'll take that off probably later. Okay, so just to quickly show you around then, without smudging any of my Nouveau drops. This is going to be the front. If you can see that, that's the front. And we're just going to go around to the back. I can open it to show you. I haven't put anything in, obviously, as you know, but if I just take this out, I can show you. You can open this, and there is your little advent cracker where you can hide a tiny little gift in there, perhaps. I'll put that back in. And then that's the side. And we're back to the front. And this is what I mean when we put those pieces in, it just basically covers up your working. But I'm going to have to leave it like that because I don't want to smudge any of those drops. So Yes, it's ended up being another very long video, but I'm known for that, I guess. So I just want to take this opportunity to say thank you so much for bearing with me and watching. You know me, I like to make things look pretty and pink and, you know, just adding my touch to things. So again, thank you so much for watching. This obviously isn't available anymore. It did sell out during birthday week, but please do support my channel. Hit that notification bell to receive notifications of future videos. Like, subscribe, share, comment, do all that good stuff, because I really do appreciate it. And some of the comments recently have been so lovely. Honestly, I've just been blown away by people's kindness. And yeah, so thank you again so much, and hopefully I will catch you in the next one. Take care, guys. Bye.